Hello and welcome to Elections 360 with me, Shobhana K. Nair. After keeping us guessing till the very last minute, the Congress has finally declared on Friday morning their candidates for Amethi and Raebareli. So we have Rahul Gandhi contesting from Raebareli, and in Amethi, stepping out of the shadows is Kishori Lal Sharma, who for the last 30 years has been managing both Raebareli and Amethi for the Gandhi family. But today's episode is not about them. Today it is going to be a special episode because we are taking you to the ground zero of Rajput agitation. As I have been saying, 2024 elections is different in many ways from the 2019. And one of the distinguishing factor in this election is the dissatisfaction aired by the core vote bank of BJP. We are taking you to Rajkot constituency, where it all began with Union Minister Purshottam Rupala's remarks made at a gathering in Rajkot. We will be joined by our Gujarat correspondent Mahesh Langa, who knows the pulse of the state. He will explain to us how this agitation is manifesting across Gujarat and specifically in the Rajkot Lok Sabha constituency. On March 22nd, Union Minister Purshottam Rupala kicked off a storm with his remarks while addressing a Dalit gathering. And I quote him here. He said, "Even kings and royals bowed down to the British, started family bonds with them, broke bread with them, and even married their daughters to them. But our Rukhi Samaj," referring to a Dalit community in Gujarat, "neither changed their religion nor established such ties, though they were persecuted the most." Since then, the Rajput groups have been picketing BJP meetings in Gujarat, and ground reports suggest that this dissatisfaction seems to have spread across the country. But speaking solely about Rajkot, could you tell us what is the situation there right now?
Well, talking about Rajkot, as individual seat, though there is strong protest by the Rajput community. They had a massive gathering in last month, in which they kind of vowed that they will not support the ruling party. But Rajkot seat, it's such that Rajput community doesn't have much of presence, except few pockets that will probably vote for non-BJP party. But other places, yes, it's a very strong protest, and they will likely to go against the BJP. Now coming back to Rajkot, Rajkot is predominantly Patel and Kohli dominated seat. And normally, except one time in 2009 to 14, there was a Kohli MP. Before that, since 89, it has been held by a Patidar community leader. So, and BJP, except this brief period of 2009 to 2014, BJP has been holding this seat for quite a long. It's a bastion of BJP. Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who became Chief Minister, he had also contested his first election from Rajkot. So in that way, it's a BJP bastion. And even before BJP was born, Rajkot was one of the first seats that Jan Sangh had won post-independence. So it's a very strong BJP, seat.
Can you explain to those of us who do not understand the Gujarat calculus? Kohlis and Patidars are what section of the caste group do they come from?
Yes. So Kohlis are, mostly land-owning or landless community spread across the country, particularly in Saurashtra. They are in this class-wise. They are in the OBC category in Gujarat. And Patidars are business community, land and business. They control the political economy of the state. In BJP, except Narendra Modi and Vijay Rupani, all other chief ministers have been from the Patidar community. They are upper caste community in the state.
Okay. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been touring the state. He has been delivering multiple rallies. Has he so far addressed the question of Rajput anger?
Well, Prime Minister held 6 rallies across the state on starting from 1st May to yesterday, and uh, he has not mentioned about the protest being, held by the community, but in a very, very, in his own style, while before he addressed Jamnagar rally, he went and met the, members of the royal family, ex-royal family of Jamnagar. He then tweeted meeting them with their photos and said that, he had received blessings from Maharaja of Jamnagar. Then, very interestingly, in none of the places in Saurashtra, he had 3 rallies: Surendranagar, Junagadh, and Jamnagar. At none of the places, Union Minister Purshottam Rupala, who is the party's candidate from Rajkot, was present. And the reason that was given to us, the media, was that he is not well. That's why he was not present with the Prime Minister's rally. So I think that is the message that Prime Minister in his own style has given, that he has not endorsed what Mr. Rupala has said. And secondly, he in Jamnagar, he mentioned about the contribution of the Rajput community in the state. So he has, in his own style, tried to address the, the issue that is quite worrying the BJP in Gujarat.
Okay. So, what his remarks, Mr. Purushottam's remarks, sort of triggered this protest. But is there any personal basis why this protest began? I mean, was it something that the community leader, the thought leaders, the Rajput thought leaders had against Mr. Rupala in person, which led to these protests, or were these as they organically spread?
Well, I think it's quite a bit organic, but let me give the background of Purshottam Rupala is from Patidar community, and in Saurashtra there has been Patidars and Rajputs have been rivals for decades. Immediately after independence, Rajputs were land owning community. They controlled most of the land, and Patidars were mostly tillers. And in the first round of land reforms in Saurashtra, those who were tilling the lands were given the ownership of the land. So Rajputs lost a lot of lands, and Patidars who were tilling those parcels of land, they became owners overnight. So there has been quite, bloodbath on that. There have been series of murders in early 80s and even till 95. In 95 to one member of BJP was killed. In 89, health minister of Gujarat was murdered by Rajput youths. And then in 89 again, one MLA was murdered on the day of Independence Day. He was delivering his speech, and after coming down from the dais, he was killed on the dais. So there has been quite a bit rivalry between the two communities. Now this protest, it's very interesting that Rajputs have now more or less with the BJP, and in Saurashtra and Kutch alone, there are 5 MLAs and 1 Rajya Sabha member from the community who are from BJP. But there, I think that the feeling that they have is that they are in power, but they don't have power. And it's a power building community. It's a very they've enjoyed power in heydays of Congress. Manohar Singh Jadeja, who is the ex-royal family of Rajkot, whose son is now in the BJP. Manohar Singh Jadeja used to decide what happens in Saurashtra. He was a powerful minister in Chimanbhai Patel government. So, they have always held power, and somehow they feel that they have supported BJP, but BJP has not shared power with them, because more or less BJP has, top positions have remained with the Patidar community. And that is in one way or the other, that frustration is coming out in this protest.
Okay. Talking about personal rivalries, whether Rajputs have may or may not have a personal bone to pick with Mr. Rupala, but there is one person who does have a personal bone to pick with Mr. Rupala. That's Paresh Dhanani. I mean, they've been their rivalry is worth writing several stories on. Could you tell us more about this Congress contender who's standing against Mr. Rupala in Rajkot?
Yes, so Paresh Dhanani and Purshottam Rupala's rivalry goes back to 2002. Now, let me tell you that there are two sections or two subcastes in the Patidar community, one Leva and another Kadwa. Mr. Rupala comes from Kadwa section, and Mr. Dhanani hails from Leva subcaste of the Patidar community.
What's the difference between the two? What's the difference between the two?
As every community has some subcaste, several subcastes, so it's like that. There is not much difference. But in 2002, Purshottam Rupala was the cabinet minister in Gujarat. He was quite, close to the then chief minister, now Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And let me tell you that when Keshubai was the chief minister, Purshottam Rupala was not made a minister, and that was probably the reason why he changed his allegiance from he was known as Suresh Mehta's man, and then he changed his allegiance from Keshubai camp to Narendra Modi. So when Mr. Modi became chief minister, Purshottam Rupala was cabinet minister, one of the powerful cabinet ministers. But in the assembly elections that were held after the communal riots in 2002, in that strong Hindutva way also, Mr. Rupala had lost the assembly elections from Amreli seat, which is his native. And Paresh Dhanani, who was just NSUI president, he was at that time youngest, he had become youngest MLA of Gujarat. So Congress had fielded Paresh Dhanani, and Dhanani had defeated Rupala. And since that defeat, Rupala never contested any election. He has mostly remained in Rajya Sabha, became Union Minister. He was a two-time state Gujarat president, but he never contested any election. Now, this for the first time after 20 years, 22 years, he has been contesting election and facing the same rival that had defeated him in 2002.
And in 2002, Dhanani was how old? Because I just checked their age. Dhanani is 45 right now, and
I think he was just 26 or so.
Okay, so it must have hurt really badly to lose in front of such a novice. So Dhanani got a free hit back then, and Dhanani hit the ball across the stadium. Now, in the last 17 elections in Rajkot, Congress has won only 5 times, and 4 of these victories were before 1984. So how are they placed in this election?
Well, I don't think electorally Rupala has any concern, because as I mentioned earlier, Rajkot is a very, very strong bastion of the BJP, and it's one of the seats Jansangh had won after the independence, and very strong roots of RSS, Jansangh, and BJP. So I don't think Rupala should have any concern electorally. And secondly, Rajkot, Congress won after decades in 2009, when Congress did not field any Patidar. It fielded Kaurji Bawaliya, who is interestingly now a cabinet minister in Gujarat from the BJP. Kaurji Bawaliya is again a very strong Kodi community leader. And he was a MLA from Jasdan, which is a segment under the parliamentary seat of Rajkot. And he had won that seat. So it's a very strong bastion of BJP. So I don't think BJP should have any concern, at least for the Rajkot.
Okay, the last question. Mr. Rupala, the storm that Mr. Rupala created, has it blown over, or is BJP still sort of trying to quell the dissatisfaction across Gujarat? What is the impact across Gujarat?
Well, I don't think it's blown over. Even today morning also, there was a BJP meeting, campaign meeting in Mehsana, in which some few Patida, members came and they started throwing, chairs. So that agitation still remains. How electorally it will damage BJP and help Congress, that remains to be seen. But as I said, Rajput or Kshatriyas, they are less than 10% of the state's population. So their numbers don't matter much as far as parliament election is concerned. Assembly, yes, they can, their, en bloc voting can make a difference. And secondly, BJP is trying, has been trying to kind of deal with this and pacify the community. Initially, the junior home minister in Gujarat, Harsh Sanghvi, was tasked to visit all the districts where agitations were happening to meet the community representatives and sort out resolve the crisis. Harsh Sanghvi himself has apologized. Rupala has apologized a number of times. State BJP President C.R. Patil has also apologized. So at least for this election, they Rajput men, may not go with the BJP.